जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यशोदानन्दन व्रज जनरञ्जन यमुनातीरावनचारि यमुनातीरावनचारि जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Jai Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol
जयकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण अरविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर सत श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से बोलो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि श्री गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपीनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी क्षेत्र की जय। वृंदावन क्षेत्र की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू असेंबल्ड डिवोटीज, ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवती उत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवती नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। नमो पंकजनाभाय नमो पंकजमालिने नमो पंकजनेत्राय नमस्ते पंकजांग्रहे। Before I start, I would like to seek blessings of all the senior Vaishnavas and everybody else, Maharaj, Davida Prabhu and all of you. So we are reading from Canto 7, Chapter 2, and today's text 38, but since it is not on the board, so we'll repeat 37 and then we'll continue to 37. Oh, okay. Okay. Shri Yama Uvacha Aho Amisham Vyasadhikanam Vipashyatam Loka Vidhim Vimoha Yatra Gatas Tatra Gatam Manushyam स्वयं सधर्मा अपि शोचन्ति अपर्थम। अहो अमीशं व्यसाधिकानं विपश्यतां लोकविधिं विमोह यत्र गतस्तत्र गतं मनुष्यं स्वयं सधर्म अपि सोचन्ति अपरतम। Yes, Dravida Prabhu, you can. Maharaj.
Only one time through? Okay.
Yeah.
Shri Yama
Uvacha. Aho Amisham Vesadhikanam Vipashyatam loka vidim vimoha. Any of ladies? Mataji's? Aho amisham payasani kanam. Online? Okay. Shri Yama Uvacha. Shri Yamaraj said, Aho, alas, amisham of these, Vyasa, by age, Adhikanam, of those advanced, Vipashyatam, seeing every day, Loka with him, the law of nature that everyone dies, Vimoha, the bewilderment, Yatra, from where, Agataha, came, Tatra, there, Gatam, returned, Manushyam, the man, Swayam, themselves, Sadharma, similar in nature, prone to die, Api, although, Shochanti, they lament, Apartham, uselessly. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay. Sri Yamaraja said, alas, how amazing it is. These persons who are older than me have full experience that hundreds and thousands of living entities have taken birth and died. Thus they should understand that they also are apt to die, yet still they are bewildered. The conditioned soul comes from an unknown place and returns after death to that same unknown place. There is no exception to this rule, which is conducted by material nature. Knowing this, why do they uselessly lament? Text 38, translation. It is wonderful that these elderly women do not have a higher sense of life than we do. Indeed, we are most fortunate. For although we are children and have been left to struggle in material life, unprotected by father and mother, and although we are very weak, we have not been vanquished or eaten by ferocious animals. Thus, we have a firm belief that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has given us protection even in the womb of the mother, will protect us everywhere. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:61, Ishvara Sarva Bhutanam Hirdeshe Arjuna Tishtati. The Lord is present in the core of everyone's heart. Thus, the Lord gives protection to everyone and gives the different types of bodies the living entity wants to enjoy. Everything is done by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, one should not lament the birth and death of a living being, which have been arranged by the Supreme Lord. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text 15, Sarvasya chaham hridesani vishto matta smritirjnanam apohanam cha desya sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta vidveda eva chaham. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. One must act according to the direction of the Lord within the heart. But because the conditioned soul wants to act independently, the Lord gives him the facility to act and experience the reactions. The Lord says, Sarva dharman parityaja mam ekam sharanam vraja. Give up all other duties and simply surrender unto me. One who does not abide by the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is given the facility to enjoy this material world. Instead of restricting him, the Lord gives the conditioned soul the opportunity to enjoy, so that by mature experience, after many, many births, bahunam janmanamante, he will understand that surrender to the lotus feet of Vasudeva is the only duty of all living beings. I'll read one more. Text 39, translation. The boy addressed the women, O weak women, only by the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is never diminished, is the entire world created, maintained, and again annihilated. This is the verdict of the Vedic knowledge. This material creation, consisting of the moving and non-moving, is exactly like his plaything. Being the Supreme Lord, he is completely competent to destroy and protect. Purport. In this regard, the queens might argue, if our husband was protected by the Supreme Personality of Godhead when in the womb, why was he not being given protection now? To this question, the answer is, Ya iksha yesha srajati dam avyayo ya eva rakshati avalumpate chaya. One cannot argue with the activities of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is always free, and therefore he can protect and also annihilate. He is not our order carrier. Whatever he likes, he will do. Therefore, he is the Supreme Lord. The Lord does not create this material world at anyone's request, and therefore he can annihilate everything merely by his will. That is his supremacy. If one argues, why does he act in this way? The answer is that he can do so because he is supreme. No one can question his activities. If one argues, what is the purpose of this sinful creation and annihilation? The answer is that to prove his omnipotence, he can do anything and no one can question him. If he were answerable to us concerning why he does something and why he does not, his supremacy would be curtailed. Very interesting. Srila Prabhupada has given nice questions and perfect questions, perfect answers in this purport. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakha Vitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Shri Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Brindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vayevicha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Ti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashadesha Tarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Brinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam panghum langayate girim yat kripa tamham vande Shri Guru Deen Taranam. Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from chapter 2, Hiranyakashipu, the king of the demons, where currently what we are studying is a pastime which Yamraj, is telling to the wives of King Suyagya after Suyagya has died in the battlefield. And all these wives are crying and lamenting for the loss of their husband, which is definitely a difficult situation for them, for any wife to lose her husband when she's alive. And we see a similar contrast in Ramayana where Lord Sri Ram, he killed Vali, and his wife Tara, she was also crying, and she was saying that now my husband is killed, now what should I do? I don't have anything. But then Lord Ram consoled her and said, no, you have your son Angad, he is there, you have to take care of him. You have to continue with your duties. So this practice of, women giving up their lives with husband, Prabhupada mentions in the purport, it's not a really good practice. So we see the similar contrast in Ramayana also. And here also we are seeing that these wives are lamenting, and the knowledge of the soul is given. The knowledge of the soul is very, very essential. It's one of the cardinal teachings, of Bhagavad Gita. Krishna, after he's speaking to Arjuna on the battlefield, and he's giving answers to all the questions that Arjuna has asked, that he doesn't want to fight because of sinful reactions, and because he's compassionate, because of destruction of dynasties, because he doesn't want any enjoyment from this victory. Krishna starts with explaining about the soul. Dehino asmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara, right? Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra mohyati. So Krishna is telling Arjuna how this embodied soul passes from one body to another body. It's just like the changing of the clothes. Vasham si jirnani yatha vyahaya navani granati naro aparani. Tatha sharirani vyahaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. It takes up new, just like a person, he changes the old clothes and gets the new one. Similarly, the soul gets the new body after it is finished. So, Srila Prabhupada, I was hearing in one of the lectures, he was mentioning, just like a girl when she gets married, right? She has to leave her parents' house and go to the other family where she's getting married. So she's not very happy because she is leaving her parents, but at the same time she's also happy that she is going to the husband's house, right? Because she loves those people. So similarly, when a devotee, he leaves the body, he or she, they are very happy that yes, although I'll miss the association of devotees, but at the same time, I am going to go more closer to Krishna. So for devotees, when somebody leaves the body, it's like a mixed feeling. It's sadness that we will not be able to get their association. We'll not be able to see them chanting, dancing, speaking. But at the same time, we are happy that they have reached to the next stage towards Krishna. And every breath that we are taking right now, it is taking us closer to death. Every breath is a death breath. It's a death breath. And even if we do pranayam or whatever we do, and it's required to have a good health, but whatever we do, still all of us are, going one step towards that. Krishna mentions in the Bhagavad Gita, 11th chapter, Kalo Asmi, I am. He tells Arjun that except you, all these people will be killed. Kalo Asmi, Loka Shaya Krita Pravaddo. Everything will be destroyed. And Srimad Bhagavatam tells that anyone who utilizes their time with every rising and setting of the sun, they are one day closer to eternal life, Krishna. For chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord. Yes, yes, correct. Yes. So devotees will utilize their time in chanting and singing the glories of the Lord. But for others, it's a very fearful, death is a very fearful incident. Like Maharaj was telling in one of the classes that statistically it was found that there is a black box in aeroplane, and when the aeroplane crashes, they record what are the last words of the pilot or whoever is in the crew. So I think Maharaj mentioned that one of the last words were like somebody was remembering the mother and somebody was two things. What was that, Maharaj?
Either it's a horrible swear word.
Horrible swear word.
Or they're calling for their mother.
Or mother, yes. So horrible swear word is number one. And
I don't know which was priority. I think you're about 50-50.
50-50, okay. And second was calling their mother. So it's a difficult situation, And we know people spend like millions of dollars just to extend their life for few, maybe days or whatever. If they have that money, they do that, right? And I remember I was working for a company, and the CEO of that company, he was a little old guy. He's like a very scholarly, very knowledgeable person. He was Indian Administrative Services before he joined this company. And I actually prepared some presentations for his junior, who was like the assistant CEO or something you can call. So he was very happy with me working on that. So he was telling that the CEO, he's actually spending all of his time in the gym. He's taking all the calls from the gym. He's eating there in the gym. So he's spending like most of his time so that his health is good. He can extend his duration of life. So, but for devotees, if there is, any problem, yes, we do take care of health. Definitely we do. But at the same time, we also depend on Krishna, right? So, one time one devotee was admitted into a hospital, and another devotee came to meet him, and he met the doctor. How is my friend? He said, he's good. I cured him completely. So this devotee also said, thank you, Krishna. So he said, why are you thanking Krishna? I cured him. So he said, yeah, I agree, you cured him, but also, because of Krishna's will, he sanctioned that he gets cured. So both of you are, there is some credit to Krishna as well as to you. He said, no, the full credit goes to me. And this devotee was very smart. And he said, how many people die in your hospital? He said, every day few people die. Then are you responsible for their death? He said, no, I am not responsible. It's God's will that they are dying. So devotees are utilizing the time to chant the glories of the Lord, and they are one day closer to eternal life. And in this world, we see people are so much attached to not dying, very fearful, very afraid. So Rupa Goswami warns that if you are attached to this world, then do not go to Keshi Ghat. Because on Keshi Ghat, Krishna is standing in the threefold bending form, and the moonlight is reflecting from his bimba-like, fruit-like lips. He is holding the flute, and he's playing the flute. He has a peacock feather there, and he's attracting everybody through his, lotus-like blossomed eyes, bloomed eyes, and he's playing the flute. So I would like Dravida Prabhu to please enact. Can somebody hold the mic of the flute?
Poor imitation, believe me.
Thank Thank you. It's like a small drama, Krishna Leela. Oh, so next I'll also narrate one pastime and that you can play maybe. So, Krishna is attracting everybody's heart. And when Krishna is attracting everybody's heart, he's calling us. In Bhagavad Gita, there are so many verses, where Krishna wants to call us. So can somebody guess some of the verses where Krishna is inviting us? Sarv dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam vaja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayishyami ma shucha. Okay? Manmana bhavmad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vashyasi satyam te pratijanu priyosi me. Think of me, worship me, pay obeisances to me, and certainly you will come to me without fail. Satatam kirtayanto mam. Dridvata kat nityayukta upasate. Anyone else? Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhakti upartam ashnami prayatatmana. Okay. Yes, so many verses Krishna is actually inviting us. And Bhagavatam explains the spiritual world is so beautiful. Krishna is playing with his cowherd boys. Yeah. Bhaktya mama vijanati yavan yaschasmi tatvata tato mam tatvato gyatva vishte tad anantaram. Vishate means to enter into Krishna's abode. Vishate tad anantaram. So many places Krishna is actually inviting us because Krishna loves us so much, because we are his part and parcel. So in Vrindavan, Krishna is going with all the cowherd friends into the pastures, green pastures, and he's looking at the pastures, he's looking at the trees, Chintamani trees, it's so beautiful. And all these cowherd boys are running and they are trying to touch Krishna. And it's not like one Gopa is banging into another Gopa and touching Krishna, nothing like that. Everybody is able to touch Krishna. Sometimes on Sunday in that area where the table for prasadam is kept, people come out and go out, so everybody is banging into each other. So it isn't like that. Everybody is able to touch Krishna. And then all these cowherd boys are playing the flute. Would you like to play again? Or no? Are you? Okay. So all these cowherd boys are playing flute, they are playing bugles, and they are very happy with Krishna. And they are looking at the bees. The bees are longing to take the darshan of Krishna, and the bees are making sound like zzz. Anyone want to try the sound of a bee? Zzz. Oh, is that? Can you share, Prabhu? Yeah.
Purispuradindidamandindidamandira sujolasitam hanumanganata mangala mangala satchandanam vande. Upon his chest is manifest the mark of goddess Shri, and there to rest the best of breeds, a temple for the bees, who worship him by singing hymns that limn his loving play, while Shri Hari most gleefully acclaims the way they pray.
Nice, thank you. Hari Bol. And then all the cowherd boys are making the sound of the bees. And after that there are cuckoo birds. How is the sound of cuckoo bird? Can anyone imitate? That sounds like a crow. Anyone else? Or maybe together? Coo! I don't know. Cuckoo bird. And then after that they are making sound of bees, cuckoo birds, and then they are looking at the birds. The birds are flying in the sky and their shade is falling on the ground, on the green pastures, and they are unfolding their hands and they are running along with the shade. And after that they are looking at the beautiful movements of the swan. They are making that, movements, and they are looking at the ducks sitting very silently. So they will also sit silently like duck. Then they are looking at the frogs. So the frogs are making sounds. And then the frog is jumping into the pond and they are also jumping along with the frog in the pond. And then they see in the well, they will shout something. And then when the echo will come, they will chastise the echo.
Ill names and laugh.
Ill names and laugh. Okay. Yeah, so they had so much fun. Spiritual world is so much full of fun. Krishna is giving this glimpse of the spiritual world, inviting us. And all the yogis, through the practice of Ashtanga Yoga, whether it is Yam, Niyam, Dharana, Asan, Pratyahara, Dhyana, Samadhi, all these different varieties of practices that they are doing, they cannot fathom what Krishna's cowherd friends are experiencing. This is very small in comparison to that. And all the jnanis who are trying to memorize all the literature and, through analytical studies, they are trying to differentiate between what is matter and what is spirit. They also cannot attain that bliss that these cowherd boys are telling. And Krishna is clearly telling in Bhagavad Gita, Yogi nam api sarvesham madgaten antaratma. Among all the yogis, who's the best? Krishna is telling that. And all the jnanis. So these cowherd boys have done so much of devotional service for so many lifetimes that they are able to become actually Krishna's friends and achieve that position that they can actually play with Krishna. Srila Prabhupada in one of the prayers mentions this beautiful pastime. Tomara milane bhai abara se sukhi pai gocharane घूरी दीना भोरा काटा वाने छूटा छूटी वाने खाई लूटा पूटी से दीना kabe hava mora. Oh dear friend, in your company I will experience great joy once again. In the early morning I will wander about the cowherd pastures and fields, running and frolicking in the many forests of Vraja. I will roll on the ground in spiritual ecstasy. Oh, when will that day be mine? I think, Prabhu, you mentioned about the first line, the change in the first line, Krishna ka va punya hobe bhai, right? That one, where the meaning has been changed a little bit. So, Bhakti Charu Swami, yeah, that was very nice. And how can we achieve this consciousness? We achieve this consciousness through sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sadhu sangha, lava matra hoye, sarva siddhi hoye. Yeah. Lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoye. So when we do service to great souls, the doors to the spiritual world opens for us. And people who bring our consciousness down, it opens the door to ignorance and darkness. So we have to choose where we focus, where we take association from. And the greatest wealth is the moment's association with a real sadhu. So when we chant Krishna's names, since Krishna is pure, Om apavitra apavitrova sarvavastha gato apiva yasmaret pundrikaksha sa bhaya abhyantara suchi. So whether we are pure or impure, whatever situation we are going through in life, sarvavastha gato apiva yasmaret, whenever we remember the lotus-eyed Lord, yasmaret pundarikaksha sa bhayat abhyantara suchi, then we are purified from within and without. And Krishna, as we know, is not different from his names. Nam Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddho Nitya Mukta Abhinatva Nama Namino. Nam Chintamani. Purna Shuddho, he's fully pure. And there is a pastime of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu where one of the devotees, he was so addicted to chanting the holy names, he couldn't stop chanting. He was chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram Ram. Always he was chanting. Even if he had to go to the restroom, he couldn't stop his tongue, and he was just trying to, hold his tongue. Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram. He was trying to hold his tongue so that he can stop chanting because he's going to the restroom. But still he couldn't. And there was a little boy who was standing little far away, and he was looking at him. And he went to him. He said, didn't you know that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Namna makari bahuda nija sarva shaktri, tatra pita niyamita smarena nakala, etadrishi tav kritpa bhagwan mamapi, durdaiva midrisha mehjani nanuraga. So there is no hard and fast rules for chanting the holy names of the Lord. Na smarena nakala, there is no time, there is no situation, good or bad, auspicious or inauspicious. Krishna says in the 12th chapter also, Shubha, Ashubha, auspicious, inauspicious, Labh, Hani, whatever it is. So he said, all these things doesn't matter for chanting the holy names of the Lord. So the little boy said, you continue to chant. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looked at this boy and he called him. And he said, you have taught a very good lesson and you are like my guru. And later this small boy became Gopal Guru Goswami, one of the very good acharyas of our sampradaya. So, in this purport, it is said that Supreme Personality of Godhead gives us protection even in the womb of the mother, and He will protect us everywhere. Can anyone remember which episode in Bhagavatam where Krishna gave protection in the womb? Parikshit, yes, Parikshit Maharaj, right? Whose womb was Parikshit Maharaj in? Uttara. Abhimanyu was a teenager and he was killed mercilessly, immorally by these different commanders, of the Kuru dynasty. And Ashwathama, in order to take revenge, because Parikshit was the last living heir of Pandava race, so he wanted to kill him. He shot a Brahmastra. Nowadays, when war happened, they shoot a bomb and everybody is killed. And they shoot out the hospital. The hospital is blasted. The old people and children, they are killed. But that time, the Brahmastra was so precise that it will only kill the person it is intended to kill. It won't even harm the mother. Can you imagine? So, Parikshit Maharaj was protected in the womb by Krishna, and he was in the womb of Uttara. So it is said Uttarayana. What does Uttarayana means? It is said that Bhishma Pitama was waiting till Uttarayana, the auspicious time to give up his body, right? Yeah, when sun is in the northern hemisphere during that January time frame. So actually Bhishma Pitama was not waiting for an auspicious, inauspicious time because he was a devotee. He was waiting to see the lotus face of Krishna. And Uttarayana here means Parikshit Maharaj is the son of Uttara, and Ayan means to take shelter. Parikshit Maharaj, who has taken shelter of Sri Krishna. Right? And similarly, Uttara has also taken shelter of Krishna. So that is the meaning of Uttarayana. So we have been given this opportunity to awaken our consciousness, and Krishna is giving us this opportunity in form of His holy names. And we can achieve this through Trinadapi Sunichena, to be humbler than blade, tolerant than tree, eager to serve others. If you take the example of mango tree, when does mango tree give fruits? Can anyone tell? Which month of the year? July. It's so much hot. It is standing throughout the year, but still it gives you juicy, sweet fruits, right? Mango fruits. So it is so tolerant, and it is giving so much pleasure to others. So giving respect to others and not respecting for oneself, so Krishna will be pleased. And one more last pastime I would narrate. Do we have time or is it done? Yeah. Okay. So from Chaitanya Leela, one more pastime. So there were residents of Kulina Gram who were asked to bring the silken ropes. So for Jagannath in Jagannath Puri, there are 4 silken ropes that pull the chariot, and one rope is like a block long. So there were devotees in Kulina Gram, and one of the person whose name was Gunaraj Khan, he wrote a book, Sri Krishna Vijay, and in that book he wrote a verse. It says, Nanda Nandan Krishna Mora Prananath. So what it means is that I am forever purchased by Krishna. And just because of this person, this one verse, all Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so happy with him and all the devotees of Kulina Gram that he gave him this service of bringing the ropes, and he will talk to them. He will answer the questions. And 2 of the devotees, Ramananda Basu and Satyaraj Khan, they asked Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we are grahastha, we have children. You know, there are so many grahasthas we have in our congregation. So similarly, he was also grahastha, and he was asking Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that what should I do to achieve perfection? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, constantly chant the holy name of Krishna and serve Krishna and Vaishnavas. So next question he asked, who is a Vaishnava? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, anyone who once chant the holy name of Krishna is a Vaishnava. And you should serve him. And he's free from all the offenses and they are worshipable. So basically, Vaishnava is always, humble, like blade of grass, Ranada Pisunichina. He always wants to do good to others. Generally, like in corporate world, we see people are envious of each other. Why is he getting promoted? Why is he getting more salary than me? Why is he getting more attention of the manager? But in spiritual world, a Vaishnava looks at the spark. He wants you to progress in whatever you are good at. Right? So that you have value and meaning in life. There is a lot of loneliness today in the world because there is no one who can appreciate the good qualities that others have. Right? People feel we are useless, we are good for nothing. But our Vaishnava, true Vaishnava is one who who fans the spark within others. If he has one good quality, he'll fan it so that he feels, important and he can do some great things in the service of Krishna. Second time these residents came and again asked the same question, that who is a Vaishnava? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu second time he says, one who constantly chants the name and who strives to be the servant of the servant. So constantly he is chanting. And they are addicted so much to chanting that they cannot get rid of it and they cannot get it out of their minds. Third time they came, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that any person who sees such a person chanting, he also begins to chant. So that is first class Vaishnava. So 3 times he said that. And Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains, because many people have this question, how can we consider someone a Vaishnava who chants just one time? So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that one time chanting is chanting with full faith. From the perspective that Krishna is not different than his names. And Sri Krishna, Srila Prabhupada has brought for us this holy name of the Lord, this beautiful temple association of all the devotees, Golokera Premadhana Harinam Sankirtan. So let us participate very enthusiastically, be very grateful, have gratitude for whatever we have been given and continue on with our services in a very humble state of mind and encouraging each other. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
This is, if you look at the whole context of what's going on here, it's quite astounding. Hiranyakashipu is trying to solace his nephews, right? His brother's children, as well as his sister-in-law, their mother. And he's quoting all of this stuff. This is all Hiranyakashipu speaking. He's quoting Yamaraj disguised as a boy. It's all him. And I'm just looking ahead, and one of the things that Yamaraj says, he's basically proving that it's foolish, just like Krishna says, Ashokchana Vashochastram. The first words to Arjuna in the role of a guru, right? You're lamenting for what is not worthy of grief. The body is not the self, and nobody dies. Basically, that's the message. So here's one verse that's coming up, and 49. Again, it's Yamaraj saying this, but it's Hiranyakashipu quoting him. Those who have full knowledge of self-realization and who know very well that the spirit soul is eternal, whereas the body is perishable, are not overwhelmed by lamentation. But persons who lack knowledge of self-realization certainly lament. Therefore, it is difficult to educate a person in illusion. But that person in illusion is Hiranyakashipu himself. Isn't it? He's the one who became enraged when his brother was killed by Braha. And this whole thing, I mean, it's the Hiranyakashipu Gita. It even starts Sri Hiranyakashipu Vivacha. Yes, you look at the beginning. So what is this? And I was thinking, here you have this demon who's like the archetype of all demons, right? He's the first big demon in the universe. And what's the first quality that Krishna mentions of the demon? Dambo Darpo Vimanascha. You remember that in the 16th chapter?
Yeah.
Dambo. Damba, the Prabhupada says pride, but it's always false pride. It's hypocrisy. And the hypocrisy is, oh, I pretend to be a very religious person and so forth. So is that what we're listening here? That Hiranyakashipu, because this is the only way he can really solace them, by quoting Shastra, telling me they're not really dying, they're dead, right? That's the whole idea, that your father, in the case of Hiranyaksha, and this king who's in the story of Yamaraj, they're not really dead. You never really saw them, right? This is what's going on. It's a standard thing. So is that what he's doing? He's using this as a means, very convincingly, to solace these people, but he doesn't really believe it, and therefore he's going to maintain his enmity and, you know, and kill Vishnu or kill the Vaishnavas, which he does. He has they're going after all the Brahmins and everything. Is that what we're seeing here?
Yes.
It's very puzzling when you look at the whole.
Yeah, yeah.
I have a thought.
Yes, ma'am.
In addition to that, a lot of times they get 3/4 of the formula, but miss the conclusion. Like you've got people who come close to understanding Brahman, or come close to understanding that, the body, there's consciousness in it, but they don't take that last leap. There's people that can quote the Vedas far better than us, at least some of us, like me, but they don't come to the right conclusion. Their intelligence is, because they don't have as Krishna says in the Gita, because they don't have the adhikar, they don't have the qualification, they're not given that realization. So, it's like, if I knew everything about a car except where the gas pedal was, I'm not going to get too far. So I think that there are instances where people are very good at analyzing, but they miss that last point. Yeah. And I think because Krishna doesn't he makes their faith strong. According to your desire, they make your faith strong. So sure, he can explain to them how you're not this body and the soul goes on, but he can't explain to them how really the business is to go back to Godhead. He doesn't come to the conclusion. That's what I think. In addition to what you said.
Yes.
The problem is that you're probably right, except he does mention the super soul. In other words, he's even talking about God in here, and that's what really threw me, because this is arch enemy, but he's invoking him as a reason why you shouldn't lament. Anyway, it's just fascinating.
Yes. Any other comments from anyone, online or here?
Right now in Israel, you've got the Palestinians are quoting the Quran, and so even to understand that there's ultimately God who's the controller, but how do I comport within that? How does everyone fit with it? How I should surrender and follow the instructions? What are the actual instructions of Krishna? Two people read the Bible day and night. One reads black, the other reads white. So it's not a surprise that you would get a hardcore materialist who has a theoretical understanding of the backdrop of that there's Vishnu who's controlling everything. But I also control, I also have it. Or they just forget out of rage. Blinded by, Krishna says, lust, greed, anger, that they can't see.
Yeah, very good point, Maharaj. Very important.
We see it actually all around.
Mic, give to Mic to Maharaj.
No. We're done if we don't surrender to Krishna. We'll be done again and again and again.
Yeah. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai.